All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I have a special guest. We've got Ryan Jackson, the Trap House King. As I like to call he buys trap houses. So I'm gonna let Ryan explain that. But as always, guys, I like to talk origin stories and how he got started. And I see his marketing and I see him around DFW. I love it. I think it's creative. Most people don't do the marketing the way that he runs it. Let's start at the top, man. So Ryan, man, thanks for coming on and tell us, how did you get everything started? What's the origin story?
Well, thanks for having me. Since you started with trap house, I went ahead and pulled up the definition of a trap house on Google. A place where illegal drugs are sold, and then if you use it in a sentence, the trap house was filled with junkies.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm out here promoting that.
So how'd you
So,
get into? I mean, how'd you get into just real estate investing in general? How did that all start for you? What was?
well, let's just roll back the clock. About 18 years ago, I'll be 38 this coming August. Here it is. What is it? July 13th.
Yeah.
So roll back the clock to 2006, and I was actually I got my first apartment in 2003 when I was right ahead of my 18th birthday. I moved to DFW and got an apartment in Bedford.
Mhm.
Roaches came, didn't quite like it.
Yeah, cousins.
Yeah, there's roaches and their cousins. Anyways, it was just kind of a bad deal. So, anyways, I got to thinking. Here I am at the ripe age of, I guess I was right ahead of my 19th birthday, around my 19th birthday, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not dealing with these roaches anymore. So I'm gonna move. And then I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna move, I might as well buy a house. But I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. But I knew I had to get rid of these roaches, so I moved and I just signed a little short 9-month lease to figure it out.
Mhm.
And I was, at the around the age of 20 years old, I'm, doing the Zillow thing in the middle of the night, doing the internet search, like most people are looking for houses,
Yeah.
and stumbled onto a website called Buy Owner, and I bought my first off-market property at 20 from somebody who was just trying to sell it by owner.
Hmm.
Didn't really get a good deal. I mean, it was a couple thousand, probably below market at the time,
Yeah.
and bought it, and I'm 20 years old, and the interest rate was 6.25%, and it was in the hood. And a lot of my friends were like, "Dude, why are you buying a house in the hood?" Well, because I couldn't find a deal. I mean, back then, $100,000 for a house versus 140 or 150 over in the better areas. It just quite wasn't in the budget. I was a part-time sales consultant for a telecom company, college, but I knew that I needed to buy some real estate because I just didn't like renting.
Yeah.
And if there's roach problems, you take care of yourself if you're owner. But anyway, so I got roommates. I bought this house when I was 20, and I had a customer in the telecom store that would come in quite often. His name was Jay, and he was 51 years old at the time. And for some reason, we just became friends. So here I am, 20, and he's 51, and we're like the odd couple. And anyways, I asked him, I said, "Hey, man, if I buy a house, would you be interested in being my roommate?" Well, of course, because he lived in an apartment,
Mhm.
an older guy like that. And so I bought a house, and he was my roommate. And it was kind of strange because the whole block's like, why is this guy, he's 20 years old. He's got a roommate, he's 51. Is that his dad? What are they doing behind those four walls? Like,
What's going on
okay,
here?
whatever. Well, they finally got to know me and realized that, I have an entrepreneur heart, even at 20. I was hustling other stuff, nothing, no drugs or anything like that. But I just would hustle. I was always a hustler,
Mhm.
still am. And anyways, I did the roommate thing for 10.5 years, maybe even longer. I had him for 10.5 years. We actually moved into another house after I paid that one off in 5.5 years, and moved into North Fort Worth, and there were still reasonable deals over there. I bought it on market, just working a job. And that would be about the year 2011. So I actually paid off my first house about the time I graduated college the third time, and bought another one. So that was my graduation gift, was to go buy me a brand new house by D.R. Horton. I was working for telecom still, and made that house a little 4-bedroom, 2-bath in East Fort Worth, a rental at $1,000 a month back then. It's now rented for $21.95. If you wonder how the market's gone, but I bought a bigger house, and all my friends were like, "Why are you buying a 3,000 square foot house if you're not married? You don't have any kids? Why would you buy a 3,000 square foot, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2-car garage, Gucci crib? Why would you do that?" Well, because I wanted more roommates. So same roommate moves over to the new one with me. I rent out the old one, add another roommate. So here I am. I guess at this time I was actually full-time with telecom. So I was no longer part-time at this time. I was full-time. And I was bringing in, between roommates and other rent house, $2,700 a month. And my house payment was about $2,000 with the bills. It's, $2,500 or whatever. So here I am working at telecom, not really having any bills. Didn't have a truck payment because it was paid off. And, I was making pretty good money in telecom back then. I mean, probably 60 or 70. And, it was working for me. And a friend of mine calls me up and he said, "Man, I found this ranch in Ennis. It's like 60 acres and I can get it for like $250,000. I mean, this is a long time ago." He's like, "But I got to buy it quick. So I got to sell my house. You interested in buying it?" Well, I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, I already got one rent house, and why not? My grandparents have a couple. My mom has a couple. I mean, let's do it. So my earnest money was a 4-wheeler. And I traded my 4-wheeler for earnest money and also the refrigerator. And I bought a house in Northeast Fort Worth, HEBISD, for $150,000, 1822 square foot. Still own it, 3.2. It's rented around $2,200, somewhere in there, $2,100, $2,200, somewhere in there today. But back then, I think I was getting like $1,500 or $1,600 for it when I first got it. About 1% roll.
Yeah. So your parents. Let me ask this. So you mentioned that. So originally you kind of grew up around rental property.
Yeah, a few. Right. Not a big portfolio.
It wasn't somewhere you're like, hey, I'm gonna you didn't. When you started this journey, you didn't set out to do what you're doing now.
Correct.
It was just you kind of. I wouldn't say you fell into it, but it just one thing led to another and another, and you started seeing like, hey,
real estate was a side hustle for my family.
Yeah.
It wasn't the main hustle. I came from a family of bakers. We had a bakery in Amarillo. It's still there. It's been there since 1965. It's called Belmar Bakery. You might have heard of it.
Okay.
Ran Krispy Kreme out of there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you originally from bakers, and everybody, how real estate was a side hustle. And I got to ask, so I want to go back to that house. You said you bought the first house in the hood. Where at in the hood?
It would be 76112 Meadowbrook.
Okay.
Ghettobrook.
Yep. I know exactly where you're talking.
Monterey, Sandy Lane.
Okay. Are you
right by the First Jefferson?
Yeah. There's because you got the two sides, like the Hanley area.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You got the one side that's really pretty with all the bars. The other side, you're like, man, they really could have. We rode through there yesterday.
Yeah, it's Ryan. I think it's Ryanwood is actually what the subdivision's called, but it's right there, right Sandy Lane and
there's so many
Brentwood Stair kind of area.
Beautiful houses that are through there that could be so much more, but they don't. They just the area is just fucked up, and it's not.
Well, that's what I saw. I mean, I saw gorgeous houses, gorgeous trees back then, and just like, it's just kind of hood,
It's still like that.
It's still hood, but hood money's good money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's green or blue. So
you ended up buying a house, and your earnest money was a 4-wheeler.
Correct.
Tell us about that. So what's kind of the next step? So
so I didn't really quite understand mortgages. I don't really need to get too far into that, but the long and short of it was, this is my mindset back then was I need to have some equity in this thing so a bank will finance me. What's funny is it had to be quick, and the only place I knew I could get quick money then was my family. And what's funny is my family actually financed my first house, and they gave me the same rate that the bank offered me at 6.25. I just didn't like all the closing costs and all the points. If you've never bought a house and you see like $16,000 in closing costs, what the fuck,
Yeah.
So I didn't quite understand that. So I went to my family and I was just like, I'm going to buy this house, but look at this loan, and Grandpa just says, "Son, just put $10,000 down and I'll finance you the rest 6.25 for 10 years." And I paid him off in 5.5.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I worked like hell to pay that thing off. I mean, roommate rent, had a few other roommates in between with, in the extra bedroom. Like I said, I was a hustler. I'd flipped a couple cars, flipped just whatever I could flip to raise cash and to pay it off as quick as possible. But, I paid off a $97,000 purchase in 5.5 years.
Was your mindset to kind of buy and then fill it up with roommates?
Yeah, that was my
that kind of
mindset.
process, and versus just like one
And
tenant.
then get the hell out of the hood.
Yeah,
That was really the goal, was to get the hell out of the hood. So, when I first moved in there, I was just kind of like, just living life, working, college, girls, cars, just whatever just being a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that people are knocking on my door wanting money, and that's just not really where I want to be around.
Yeah.
So I knew that if I wanted to buy another house, I needed to pay this one off. Didn't have any rental income for 2 years behind me to get a new house. So, just, you had to have pretty much pay it off to get another one at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and I paid it off. And when I moved over to North Fort Worth, it was before they really developed it. The Costco wasn't there. I think the only thing that was there was the Mi Casina and maybe the rooms to go.
Yeah.
And so I moved over there, and it was like a breath of fresh air. There was less stress. You could just feel your stress wasn't as high. You weren't looking over your shoulder all the time.
You could stop at a stoplight and not worry about what's
Right.
going on.
I could get gas without being panhandled.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a better frame of mind. And then I bought that second rent house, third property. So here I am, 27 years old. 27 was when I bought my second one, and then right ahead of my 30th birthday. So August 22nd is my 30th birthday at this time, and I bought it on August 15th. So right ahead of my 30th birthday, I had 3 pieces of real estate, and I own 2 of those. The homestead that I bought, that from D.R. Horton, I actually sold it. Just went on to a different homestead and moved to Denton. Got a 11-acre ranch up there I bought from Equity Cash Offer. Donovan Ruffin and Omar Torres. They sold me that house back then, and they sold me a banger. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
10.771 acres, brick house all the way around, no driveway, no slab for your, to play basketball on, or long dirt road to get in there. And it was just kind of a big chunk of land, but it was $260,000.
Right.
And and it was jacked up. And I sold my beautiful D.R. Horton build, 3,000 square foot, for $318. You could 518 wouldn't buy it right now, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But this ranch, or ranchito, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the actual definition of a ranch is. I mean, how many acres is it when it's an actual ranch? But I call it the ranch. It's funny, but 10.771 acres in a brick house, and I move it up there. But I don't think I would. If you put $1 million on the table right now, I don't know if I would sign the paperwork to sell it. The market's gone up so much; it's hard to find land up there. And
Mm-hmm.
but I mentioned that because you can make money just on your homestead. I'm not giving tax advice, but if you're a single man and you make $250,000 or less, there's no taxes due as long as you sit in it for 2 of the last 5 years. And if you're married, then it's $500,000.
Yeah.
I'm freshly married. I left my ring at home, dang it. But
We don't wear ours, don't worry.
but so there's a lot of tax-free equity there that I'll probably never see, because I don't know if I can sell this place. But that's just kind of what I've done on the homestead side. Built up equity and just been doing that. But as far as the rentals are concerned, back in 2016, I left telecom. I had a knife in my back, and just corporate politics and mutiny. Somebody wanted my job. Somebody wasn't qualified for my job. And, the best way to get a job, I guess, is to put a knife in somebody's back and get them out of the business so you can have that job. And, well, I just left on bad terms out of telecom. If you notice, I use the word telecom, not, the Death Star or anything like that. But, I don't mention anybody by name.
But it worked out, though. I mean,
Yeah.
where one door closed, you were like, well, fuck it. We're going to.
Yeah. So,
you almost needed it, right? At some point.
yeah, the one thing that was good about my exit versus the person that put a knife in my back, what to make matters worse, the person that put their knife in my back, we actually bought houses together on the same block. I mean, so it was kind of strange. I mean, he moved on before he put his knife in my back to another house, but it was just kind of funny. But I hired this guy off the street, and I think he was 48 years old when I hired him.
Yeah.
And I was probably 28 years old when I hired him. But anyways, it was a long time in the business, and he finally stuck a knife in my back because he wanted my job because he wasn't qualified for it. It was kind of strange, but this was like a really, really good friend of mine, so you can tell I'm a little bitter about it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man.
I mean, he was back in 2016. It was kind of tough because I lost a really good girlfriend,
Yeah.
I loved her to death. And then I had a friend of mine die of I guess I'll go ahead and say it, a heroin overdose.
Mm.
And then I lost my job all in a matter of 1 month. So it was kind of a bad month for me, June of 16. So anyways, I was about to buy my first flip in June of 16 while working in telecom.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing. I went back to my family, and a guy that used to work for me at AT&T, his name's Chase Howard. He, I said the word I wasn't going to say. Oh, well, they're not going to hear me. But anyways, he came to me. He's like, he's been studying real estate. He was working in the oil field, and he's like, man, I got a flip opportunity. And he actually bought it from the bank and sold it to me right after.
Yeah.
I mean, right away. It was because he had to double close it. So anyways, I'm talking to my grandfather who, was going to help me out with my first flip while I'm working at the Death Star, and I lose my job. I go to Grandpa, and I'm like, I guess, Grandpa, I can't buy this flip house because I got to go find a job. And he said, son, you can't afford not to flip that house.
Yeah.
Hair just stood up. I mean, goosebumps everywhere because the old man said, you can't afford to not do this. So we flipped the house in, I think it was 73 days, made $24,000. And I was addicted. That was it. We need your grandpa to talk to one of our sellers that we just went through with. Fuck, man. So, I flipped my first house, and then I went back to Chase, and I said, all right, I'm ready for another one. And I'm working on one in Toledo. Well, I go out to Toledo, and I'm also looking for a job, and I get a job at and I'm definitely not going to say this name, but it's in finance.
Mm-hmm.
And being a stockbroker or a financial advisor is actually the title. And I had to go through a tremendous amount of training to become a financial advisor. And while I was doing that, I was part-time flipping houses.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them what I was doing. And they, oh, yeah, come on in. It was a partnership. So partnerships, you get better partnership ranks when you bring people into the business. So I think that they swept some stuff under the rug that they shouldn't have, just for the mere fact of the person that recruited me, so get better partnership personally. Knowing what I know now, they should have never hired me, just based on what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's nothing wrong. I mean, if it's a conflict of interest, it's a conflict of interest, But anyways, I was terminated from my broker-dealer about 13 months after I started because of my outside business activities.
Yeah.
So I labeled my outside business activities, and when I signed up to work there, and they're due October 31st, I started October 27th. So walking in, here it is, and then a calendar goes around, and I, go ahead and put my outside business activities again around the 27th, about the 1 year mark, and then a month later, I'm fired. And what it was is they were really worried that I was going to take clients from Wall Street and take them to Main Street.
Right.
If you're wearing a Wall Street jersey and they see you doing all this stuff on Facebook and social medias on Main Street, it's a little bit more sexier than just buying a stock.
Yeah.
Or buying a mutual fund. You know what I mean? And people are attracted to that. And they were just really worried that I was going to take money from investors and put it in my personal business, and then something goes sour and they can't supervise it, and the next thing you know, they're getting sued because of a bad real estate deal.
Well, they're scared because you're making money hand over fist compared to anything that they're going to be offering. You know what I mean? You the guys that you would work with could make way more money with you than because
right.
you're just going through you're going through financial advising training. But I mean, the truth is, someone like yourself now, you could actually give true financial advice, whereas then you can then too. But
I had a license that said I could, and today I don't have a license that says I can.
Right.
So.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But then you had you were buying houses and things like that, so you had the ability to give solid sound advice, whereas a lot of the guys that have a license that says they don't have any assets, or they don't even hell, they probably don't even have any stocks. Like it's not
a fucked up deal.
It's a fucked up deal. They're not the same. Like when I hear financial advisor, I'm like, I'm always like shaking my head, going, they probably don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. So I'll back this up, and the reason why I actually became a financial advisor, I'll go ahead and back it up to probably about 7 or 8 years old. I'm riding in the back seat of my grandfather's truck with his financial advisor, which is my uncle at the time. He's not my uncle anymore. And they're sitting here talking about stocks, and they're sitting here talking about Dollar General stock. Look, we're driving to Vernon from Amarillo. There's a Dollar General in every one of those towns.
Right.
Look, there's a Dollar General. Look, there's a Dollar General. So why would you not want to invest in this? And we're talking about like, I mean, here I am like 7 or 8 years old, and I'm talking about stock splits,
Mhm.
and I'm just getting fired up about this. I bought my first mutual fund at 11.
Yeah.
I started working at 11. I filed taxes ever since 1996. I was born in 85. So I'm not a stranger to investments, paper investments included.
Mhm.
You know, at 11 years old, you're scraping the floors and washing the dishes and just believing the bullshit they're cramming down your throat, but put money in this fund.
Mhm.
And I mean, back in the 90s, the mutual funds weren't really popping. I'll tell you that. They were pretty flat
Yeah.
or down or whatever. But you remember the .com bomb, you know?
Yep. We're the same age, by the way.
Yeah,
We're
so-
literally like a month apart.
Okay.
So my birthday's next week, and yours said yours is in August. So yeah.
So the reason why I was buying mutual funds at 11 and 12 and 13 years old was just to save up to buy my first vehicle.
Gotcha.
So that was the goal, and I did. I mean, I bought a 2000 GMC Sierra. It was $12,000 back then, and had 14,000 miles on it. So saved up to buy a truck. I mean, and the best way to do that is to get other people to help you. And my grandfather, you know, he even at a young age, he said you got to have your money working for you at night when you sleep. If your money's not working for you when you're sleeping,
yeah,
you're not doing it right.
Did you know that you were?
Smart
Did you know you were different? Like, and I don't mean like when I say different. Like, did you know? Yeah, you look around at your friends. Like, were your friends weren't like that? Were they? Or it was just you, and you're like, man, you just see the world differently.
You know, I really don't think that I've ever thought I was different or special. I mean, even today, I still don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest difference is the parenting.
Yeah.
I mean,
what you were told.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you need to do this and do that, and you listened.
I listened.
On top of that, because some people get told that shit, and they don't ever. They're just like, whatever, I'll
Yeah.
deal with that when it's time.
Yeah, I mean, so I've just been one of those guys that have kind of done what I told. My grandfather is a successful businessman. He's how old is he? He'll be 88 come December.
Mm-hmm.
And my real estate portfolio is bigger than his.
Yeah.
But you know, he's just one of those guys that's worked his butt off his entire life. I mean, he got his first job in a laundry at 13. He said he'd be 19 in December. He just didn't tell him what December. You know, I mean, the guy's just, there's no excuses in my family.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have a saying in our family, failure's not an option.
Yep.
Do you have siblings?
I have a half brother. We have a different last name, different dads, kind of cut from the same cloth, not quite. He's got a little bit of real estate, believe it or not. I've helped him out with that. He's got a homestead. He's got a traplex, believe it or not. He's got a hell of a traplex in Amarillo. It really is. It's a traplex.
I like that. That's funny as shit.
Dude's cash flowing, I don't know, $5,000 on a $150,000 traplex.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's trapping.
That's wild.
My half sister on my dad's side, she's not listening to this. I know she's not listening to this, but she's batshit crazy. That's my half sister. You know, just once again, just not cut from the same cloth. You know, she's raised in a different environment. My dad was never there for me.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
But you had a good influence, and for you, it's that it was granddad. You know, your grandfather was that influence that basically said, "Hey, man, this is what you need to do." And I mean, the biggest thing, it sounds like you listened to the advice where others just wouldn't do it. You know,
I mean, grandfather, his coaching was sincere.
Yeah,
and it really was. I mean, the coaching was consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I didn't ever do drugs in high school.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't do drugs in college. Why? Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. You know, Grandpa's coaching is just. I mean, there's just something when an old man tells you something, you have to listen.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been like that my whole life.
That's awesome. So 2016. You said 2016 was the year when everything changed.
That's when everything changed.
And everything changed, and so you're at this crossroads. So now you've got, you know, you had this hellacious month. You said it was in June. Just things were fucked up. So, and you said, all right, so I'm going to make this change. So how did you kind of end up into more full time? Like, okay, now I'm going that way.
Well, early July of 2016, I'm sitting in a church in Florence, Colorado, because I have nothing else to do except for go find myself. Mm-hmm. And I live in Denton, Texas, or at the time I was living in Fort Worth, Texas. But, just lost my girlfriend, just lost my best friend, just lost my other best friend because he's put a knife in my back, lost my job, but I had cash flow. So, I mean, really, if I could just eat ramen noodles and beef jerky, the bills are paid.
Yeah.
Just keep everybody happy. The bills are paid. I also had a benefit that most people didn't have. I had the day I bought my house, I had $87,000 in a 401k. That would be in 2011. So I had this. It was $186,000 saved up in a 401k. I had a little pension plan that I cashed out to pay off some immediate debt that I, probably actually to pay off that second rent house I bought. I had a little money I owed my grandfather, so I paid that off and flipped my first house. And I don't have any health insurance, don't have any 401k, don't really have any direction other than just time. Time to think, time to find yourself. But anyways, I'm sitting in a church in Florence, Colorado. My uncle goes there, my grandfather's brother, and there's this woman, and she sees me hurting. She sees me crying in church.
Yeah.
And I might start crying here in a second. So.
No, you're good, man.
But anyways, I don't even know who this woman is.
Yeah.
She smells. She hasn't washed her hair. She hasn't washed her hair in a week.
Yeah.
And her English is not the best, but she says something that she saw an angel over me in church. And I'm really just, listening to the sermon. I don't even remember what the sermon was, but
yeah,
I was really at a low spot in my life. 2 friends gone or stabbed back. Beautiful girlfriend that I just absolutely adored, that I really just couldn't. It was somebody I knew a long time, so it was really, really hard for, really hurt me, and no job, no direction, and in this church, after this angel was sitting over me and this lady was praying for me, and my grandfather looks over and he says, "Your comeback's stronger than your setback."
Yeah. Yep.
So he's right.
Absolutely.
My comeback was way stronger than my setback. And you feel that with, there's no excuses in this family. Failure's not an option. And you're a Jackson, and Jackson's rise to the top. I heard that yesterday. Grandpa told me that yesterday. I mean, something along the same lines, that you're a Jackson, and Jackson's always rise to the top. I mean, the man's 87 years old, and he's still dropping quotes, and this is a guy with a 7th grade education, by the way.
Yep.
So, the people that went to high school and people who went to college, those are the ones that are not on his level, he says. He says, that's for the people that went to college. I didn't go to college. So, but, I think we kind of got off on a tangent here, but the setback was so small compared to what I have now. I had 5 closings yesterday. None of them closed.
Yeah.
Those are a little bit bigger problems than losing your job. Yeah. Job is just over poor, and I was.
Yeah.
Or just over broke. I mean, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, spending money, going on dates, doing whatever, not really caring. Everything's working, and then all of a sudden you just get derailed. Now what?
Yeah.
But luckily, I had 2 pieces of real estate. One of them was paid off. $180-something thousand in a 401k that I rolled over to my new broker dealer because I had to. That's how I remember. And no direction, so I had to find some direction. And I went to get a job at that broker dealer, and I wouldn't have been able to get in that front door if I didn't have a bachelor's degree. For people to listen, get to college. You need college. You don't need it, but it's strongly suggested. But the stuff I learned working for a broker dealer is very valuable today.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say study money, I mean it. Study money. Like, well, I mean, it's green stuff. How do you study it? I mean, look at it, I mean, here's Jackson, here's Grant. No. Study IRA. Study how money works. Study retirement accounts. That's really the key there, is studying retirement accounts, because, you're the same age as me, 37, 38 years old.
Yep.
You can't touch that money until you're 59 and a half without penalty.
Right.
So if knowing that, That's kind of like fuck you money.
Yeah.
Fuck you money is the best money to get because it's money they don't care about.
Yeah.
I mean, they care about it, but they don't really care about it until they're 59 and a half, you know? So after being terminated, my biggest regret was not having more clients. Seriously, I was my own biggest client as a broker dealer. I was the biggest client that I had. You know, part of the gig was for 5 weeks you had to go meet people. That's it.
Just shaking hands.
Name, number, and a need.
Yeah.
What's the need? Well, I need some plumbing. I need a roof. I need to save for kids' college. I need to save for retirement. Just name, number, and a need. And if you can plug those needs, you get a contact.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the guy that helped me with this. Oh, yeah, that was the guy that helped me with that. So if you have name, numbers, and needs and you can start filling needs, people will start filling your needs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so hard to build a business in finance or even in real estate is you have to build a business one contact at a time.
Yeah.
You follow me on social medias, right?
I do. So
you do real estate, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So, and you know Jawad.
Yep.
You know Jawad's Facebook group, DFW Real Estate Investment.
Yep. Uh-huh.
You're in that group, right?
I am. Yeah.
Based on what you see in that group, what do you know about me?
I know, well, obviously trap houses. I know that you know, it's pretty apparent you've been in the game for some time. It's apparent that you run deals on a regular basis. You know, I've seen some of the stuff, some of the videos you have as far as like, you know, some of the like when you actually show like, hey, this is what we're working on. I know that recently you did one, this is a few months ago, you bought one in Denton and started kind of showing the video of the rehab and kind of what you guys are running. You just bought in Saginaw, didn't you?
No.
No, that wasn't. I know that you do Saginaw.
I do everything, bro.
Right. But I'm saying recently there wasn't a Saginaw deal.
No, not recently.
No? Okay. I know Fort Worth there was a recent one in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
You've kind of come across. So
here's what I was trying to get out of you. Is one thing you need to know about me is I don't email. We text, right?
Yeah.
You phone called.
Yep.
And it took you a few attempts to get me here, right?
Yeah.
And I apologize for that. But what I'm trying to get at is I can call anybody I need in this town. And it goes back to building the contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want your fucking email. I don't want to send you a goddamn email.
Gotcha.
I want to talk to you. And when that's the one thing you need to know about me. And the reason there's ulterior motives to that.
Mm-hmm. If
you call me, I'm going to find value in you.
Right.
And I damn sure going to leave value in you. So if I can find value in you and I'm going to save you in and I need to get a hold of you, I can call you.
Right.
Because I'm not the email guy.
Yeah. You know him. You're talking person to person. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you take some of the big shots, you know, in this town, they're all on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them that's worth a damn, you know, that gets their name out there, of course. But that's me. And I learned that from when I was a financial advisor is you just need contacts. One thing about being a financial advisor is you never put anything in writing unless it's approved by the broker-dealer. Nothing's in writing. Let's have a conversation. It was always let's have a conversation.
Gotcha.
And people in this world don't always want to see it. They want to read it, yes or no. And you're not going to get that with me.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. Well, Ryan, what are you offering? I don't know. Let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. One of the few people that do that, and that's not a bad thing by any means. It's not uncommon. Most people are, you know, email, text, just boom, 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 like, you know, knock it out real quick so that we can, you know, keep it going. So
let me look at my email real quick. There's 2,754 emails that are unread, and that's after I literally had an inbox from all the way back to 2007 that I just hit delete on everything. 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 I mean, sorry, I don't got it. Reprimand me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but
you tell them to snail mail that shit to you. Send it to me UPS.
So no, just send it to me non-certified mail.
Yeah.
If it's certified, it's not going to get picked up because I'm not going to post office.
Yeah.
You know, just send me a bill and they'll get paid. If you don't send me a bill, I hate emails. Email bills. I tell people if you send me an email bill, send me a text.
Yeah. Send me a text bill.
Send me a text, and if it ain't paid in a week, send me another text because it's not sitting on the counter where all the bills are.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't have the money. It's not because I don't want to pay. It's because it's not sitting on my counter like the electric bills, the water bills, the mortgages and stuff like that.
Old school, man.
Well,
it's old school. You're face to face.
Well, I mean, Go set up a water account online, and then go set up another one, and then go set up another one, and go set up another one, and another one, and another one, another one, another one, another one. Pretty much all your time is just sitting here, and then you need a login for every one of them. So you need an email for every one of them, right? Oh, sorry, we've already got your account on file. This is just too much bullshit. Send me a fucking bill, and I'll pay you. So that's how I am. I mean, yeah, I finally recently I just got off of handwritten checks and got onto computer checks. So, now everything's cut out of QuickBooks and it's a little bit easier for accounting measures. But
yeah,
I'm very old school. I really am. I mean, I drive an old school Caddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just an old school dude, and that's how you make contacts, is being old school. The connection.
Yeah.
You can make somebody feel really good, or you can make them feel really, really bad. I'm good at both.
Well, we grew up in that era too, where we were just like being that, so Misty's actually older. Misty was born in 81. So, yeah, I gave your age, honey.
Cradle rubber.
Yeah.
Cradle rubber.
Yeah. So, but we grew up in that era where, you actually had to call a friend, or, there was no, like these kids, man, they
you had to remember a phone number too.
You had to remember a phone number. You had to remember a phone number. You had to call a friend. You had to do like all that stuff. So if you didn't have that, you just didn't have, is what it was. I mean, you had the little light up phone, or you had the private line that, your mom or dad can get on and be like,
just listening.
Yeah, listening in.
Just listening.
Yeah. So we didn't,
you hear him breathing. Dad, hang up.
Yeah, that's how we grew up. So I find appreciation in that, because that's something that, especially just our age group, we don't find it as much. Whereas like the group that's ahead of us, they're still like that.
We're the greatest generation, hands down.
But we're that one generation. That was that last one.
Yeah, we're the last one.
Where we got I remember getting a cell phone. It was like 2005 or 6 or some shit like that. And it was like 16 or whatever. And I'm like, but I bought a prepaid.
The pager.
Your mom didn't want to co-sign because she's scared of the $5,000 bill or the $15,000 bill.
Yeah,
brother, I can talk your head off about $15,000 bills and teens. I'll tell you that. You go back to the nights and weekends are 5,000 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember that shit.
After 9, you pay $7 extra, to get it at 7, and then you got roaming, and I mean, Dallas is a little pin drop on here, and I see orange and I see green, and I can't really tell because the map's itty bitty and Dallas is huge, So
shit's cutting out, but we grew up in that era, so I appreciate that. I understand what you're saying. Like, you don't really, it's your contacts, and so. Mm-hmm. So let me ask this: so how did you end up in the? So you start flipping houses, right? You start flipping houses, then how did you did you know, like, and I know we used to talk about trap houses, but like, did you know kind of the target market, what you wanted? Did you fall into that category? Some people don't. Some people are like, hey, look, I want this. Like, I got a friend of mine, he owns some real property. He's like, I will never buy a fucking house that's in the hood. Like, he's like, it's just 100%. It's got to be like the nice part of Arlington, Martin School District, that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. So how did you end up, like, what took you that direction, or how did, what was it that said?
Well, the trap houses, I buy traps. I buy problems. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I gave you the illicit drug definition of a trap house, but the truth is I don't really buy a lot of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I do on occasion, don't get me wrong. But if today is Friday before auction and the auction's on Tuesday, you're in a trap.
Right.
I'm here to clean it up. I'm here to get you out of the trap. So I just buy problems. My wife is an escrow officer, and she's the greatest of all time, and she figures out trap titles. So there's a play there.
That's cool. So you guys can work together with that.
We work together all the time.
Yeah. Is that how you met?
I actually, Tang Nguyen actually, and if you know Tang, he actually introduced me to her. I said, hey, I need to fire my escrow officer. I need a new one. And he said, go check out Hannah. I go, who's Hannah? And next thing you know, I'm doing business with her, and she leaves.
You're like, dude, what the hell?
She leaves. She goes, I'm in Fort Worth, and she goes all the way to like Rockwall or Rowlett, and I'm just like, this ain't working. Because remember, I'm old school. I got to show up to the title company. I'm just kind of old school like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I gotta find another one. So I found another one, and her boss actually called me. Hannah's boss called me, and he's like, what do I got to do to get your business? And I gave him some parameters to get my business, and he did the parameters. It took him 6 months to do it, but he did. Mm-hmm. I won't talk about the details, but
yeah.
So 6 months later, he finally earned my business because he met my demands, and I'm back working with Hannah again. Now we're married.
That's cool. That's cool.
That was one of the demands.
And,
Yeah.
and the one thing about
Bring her
sucks about
back.
being married to an escrow officer, she can't sign you anymore.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of lame that you got to have somebody else sign you. So
let me ask this. One thing I always love to ask with pretty much every guest we have on is, crazy stories. What's some of this? Give me some.
you want some trap house stories?
Man,
Is that what you want?
give me some crazy shit that maybe you come across. You're like, man, that was wild.
Well, I got one right now on my hands in the city of Dallas.
Okay.
That's a fucked up mess. So let's roll back the clock to about September of last year. October 3rd, I think, was our closing day. Wholesalers pitching a 2% seller finance duplex on Ross and Greenville. You know where Ross and Greenville is in Dallas?
Yep.
That's Boardwalk and Park Place.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. So it's not Boardwalk, but it's Park Place. I'm on Ross, so we'll go with Park Place. And if you drive down Park Place or Ross Avenue, Gucci, last house on the right's a shitbox duplex built in the 50s. But it's on fucking Park Place.
It's for you, waiting on you.
And it's 2% in a higher, as the rates are starting to come up. I mean, this is last October, September, rates are starting to come up. They're coming up quick. What's funny is this is posted on all the boards, and I'm surprised nobody jumped on it. And here it is, 2 days old, and nobody's bought a 2% seller finance on fucking Boardwalk and Park Place. Are y'all fucking kidding me? Sure, I'll take it. Anyways, luckily it was off market for 2 days, and really nobody's bought. And I beat the wholesaler up for an $8,000 fee, and have to explain to the seller why she's not buying. Like, she's a rookie wholesaler trying to wholesale a creative deal. And anyways, I had to go clean it up behind her. But the story is, you can't go look at it. It's sight unseen.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
how's it look?
Tell that to Ryan Jackson. So I show up in a limousine in a cowboy hat.
Right.
That says landlord on it. And I'm just walking around taking a look at this place because I'm just getting in and getting out. I mean, I did. So I'm in the backyard kind of looking at this place, and this guy comes out. His name is Peter Thomas Kurz. He's suing me right now. And anyways, he's got warrants out in different states and cities. He's a real nice guy, if you know what I mean. And he comes out and he starts yelling at me, "You have no right to be here, blah, 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 blah." And I just apologized. I was nice to him. And I actually had my camera crew with me that day.
Yeah.
And I had a microphone on. And anyway, so it's being well documented. Next thing you know, he's showing. I calm him down, and he's sending text messages to the owner that next time somebody comes over here, I'm gonna put a gun in their face. I'm gonna kill them. Blah 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 blah. It's just whatever, dude. So, anyways, I settle him over, and I buy this property, seller finance, $45,000 down, and paying an $8 fee on top of that, $8,000 fee, and it's an expensive investment. But now I got this guy. Anyways, I thought I could handle him, no problem. Anyways, hey, your lease is up. I talked to his old lady or whatever, and we're buying a $1 million house on Worth Avenue. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess, early October. We just need can we just stay a little bit after Thanksgiving? I'm like, we could probably work that out. Show me. I already know who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with some people that are really aggressive and don't want nobody to look at these units. And sure, let's talk to your agent. Let's see a contract on it, and we could probably work that out for you. No contract, no agent. Next thing you know, they're filing check complaints on my partner who's a licensed agent. That's already been squashed. And I post a notice that, hey, we bought this property. Your lease is up at the end of October. It was like October 3rd. I put it on there, I think. And your lease is up at the end of October, and you just got to go. No big deal. Well, they don't leave. And I have to evict them. So I go to eviction court, do the posting again, and do the 3-day, and just do everything right. Go to eviction court, win in eviction court pretty easily. They appeal. Appeals court is coming along. Judge Dimitri Benson, most liberal judge in Texas. She strikes it down. She throws it out before it even hits the courtroom. Something about the lower court didn't send the documents the way the Supreme Court of Justices made it per COVID or something. I don't know. But anyway, so we had to start over. All right, post again. Go to court. Whip his ass in court. Not only did I whip his ass, I mopped the fucking floor with his face. Okay?
Yeah.
And I win. He appeals again. We make it to appeals court. June 30th, I finally get to appeals court, and this started in October. June 30th.
Man.
We go into a very, very liberal courtroom, but it's a different courtroom. I filed in a different court just because I had a feeling that I need a different court, So anyways, I filed in a different court, got the kind of the direction I wanted, but you got a 1 in 5 shot of driving or of pulling Dimitri Benson. There's five judges, so you got a 1 in 5 shot of getting Dimitri Benson. Well, I didn't get Dimitri Benson. I forgot what her name is, but I had other friends warning me about her, that she's just as bad as Dimitri Benson. Well, we're the first case, and it took 3 hours of deliberation. An eviction, if you've ever been in an eviction courtroom, it usually takes 20 minutes. It was 3 hours. I mean,
really to think that over.
Right. It's $5.50 an hour for a trial lawyer, by the way. So here I am on trial here with the trial lawyer. Shout out to Pratt Aycock, those attorneys over there. So anyways, we beat him in court after 3 hours. And part of those 3 hours was right out of the gate, the missus is not there. Well, where's the missus? She's the one on the lease. This Peter Thomas Kurz is not even on the fucking lease. Well, where's she? Well, she's downstairs, probably going to go to the hospital. And I don't know why. I later find out because she's contemplating suicide downstairs to get a stall. Anyway,
wow.
Yeah, so that I didn't know that, but bailiffs and different police officers are coming into the courtroom and talking to the judge behind the wall, and they're keeping stuff out of the courtroom to keep it non-biased and stuff. I found out later that she was trying to commit suicide to get a stall. Well, we flew in the prior owner as a witness that says, "Hey, I didn't sign that lease." He produced a false lease. Between round 1 and round 2, when we were headed to appeals court before it got struck down, he sent me a big old document that he supplied to the court. There was like an email in there. He's pleading with the judge. Judge, is a big misunderstanding. Here's my lease. So he sent me his play.
Yeah.
And I don't play checkers. I play chess. Okay. So he sent me the play. Like, that's the dumbest thing you can do is send me your moves.
Yeah.
All right. So now I know your moves. Cool. Call the seller. Hey, seller. I need you to, is this your signature? No, it's not my signature. Is this false? Yes. I need you to file forgery charges in the city of Dallas. Good luck. Because they fucking suck. And I need you to show up in court. Well, I'm in Oregon now, living in my RV. Well, this is a seller finance transaction. So, if I lose in court, ma'am, because you're not there to help me defend this, guess who's next to get a lawsuit? You.
Yeah.
I'm suing you. I suggest you get your ass on a plane and get to Dallas and get down here and help me defend this. She does. Well, my attorney says, well, we flew in a witness all the way from Oregon, and we need to have this trial now. We did. So 3 hours of this, and the judge would stop and ask my attorney and then the defendant to go in a side room to work it out. In other words, go cut a deal. I'm tired of hearing this bullshit. Go cut a deal.
Yeah.
We didn't cut a deal. He wanted $14,600 to leave. Okay. So I go into this, after he leaves the side room, I go into the side room to talk to my attorney to figure out what's going on. Well, he wants $14,600. The seller says, I'll split it with you. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And I said, we got him on the ropes. Go finish the fight. I'm not doing this. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I would rather go another 6 months and give this guy $14,000 at this point. And I can hear him through the walls yelling at my attorney, we can start this all over. We can start this all over. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on in there? But anyways, we finally get a verdict, and the judge sides with us, and she didn't want to. But, this guy's even cussing at the judge. I'll get the damn lease. Like, I don't know how you can win in the courtroom when you treat the judge like shit.
Yeah. He must have missed that day, huh?
Yeah.
It's cool.
But if you back it up, this guy's his old lady says that he passed the bar exam in 13 different states. Bullshit. Whatever. He's a wannabe Johnny Cochran. I beat him 3 times already. So
the glove didn't fit.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. If I would have not had an attorney in round 2, I probably would have got beat. for technicalities and, not knowing. I've never been in the appeals court like that. They're real strict. I mean, you do not volunteer anything unless you're asked. It's kind of strange. But anyways, the judge finally signed with us on June 30th. And today's date is July 13th, and these sons of bitches are still sitting in my fucking house.
Damn.
Yeah, so the plot thickens. And, earlier this week, I'm trying to figure out, are we getting the writ? What are we doing here? And my attorney calls me, and he says, well, the judge called me. And the staffer made a mistake and said that they, we got a bond, is what it was. And the bond was we asked for $50, and we ended up settling at $1,200 a month. It was dumb. She wanted to know what that unit runs per month. I said it's about $2,500, and he said no, that's bullshit. That's $750. She said, all right, the bond's $1,200. You know what I mean? All right, so he's got to pay the bond to stay.
Yeah.
And to go appeal again. Well, today is the final day that he has to put his bond down, but the staffer screwed up and said you don't have to pay it till August 1st. So the judge called my attorney and said, hey, do you think it's fair? And he said, no, it's not fair. You got to uphold the law. Your courtroom decided this. You need to uphold it. Well, I'm going to do it anyways. Hang up. These are the liberal judges in Dallas.
You're still in the middle of this shit.
Right. So I beat this guy in court 3 times, and he's still in my house. And today's the last day for him to post a $1,200 bond. They don't do anything. I think she's out Ubering or something to raise $1,200. But God, I hope they don't have $1,200 today. But if they don't, tomorrow I can get a writ finally.
Oh man, their tires just deflated.
Yeah, trust me. I mean,
what happened to that?
But what's funny is they're occupying one unit in a duplex, and they were occupying 2 of them. They didn't appeal on the second one, so I successfully got a writ and evicted them there on a 1 unit. Well, now he's suing me for wrongful eviction in the same courtroom that I mopped his face with on the floor.
Yeah.
With the same judge that I thanked after our trial was over, because we were the last case and it went forever and ever and ever. And I thanked the judge because I saw him in passing, and I said, man, I really appreciate you. And he goes, I was just doing my job, brother.
Yeah.
So go sue me in that courtroom. Good luck. I don't even really need an attorney at this point, but I'm going to take one anyways. But yeah, so these guys have been tying up my real estate, saying they got a free lease. It's forged. And I've been making payments on it. I've been paying insurance on it. I've been paying taxes on it. And this guy's telling people and my attorney that he'll own that property someday.
Yeah.
He put a lien on the property, mechanics lien.
That's crazy.
For like $18,000 or $19,000.
Yeah.
And so I've got a seller finance position, and then a second position, and then now I got for part of my down payment I borrowed my second position, and then now I got another lien behind it. I got a third lien on there, and it's a mechanics lien. Well, the second position I have to pay it off because it's a friend of mine's money and it's a higher interest, and I'll pay that off without clearing title. That's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But how am I going to clear title on a lien when I got that lien really belongs to the seller, not me?
Yeah. And
she's in first, and we got a 10-year balloon. So in 10 years, I'm probably going to have to go back to that lady and say, well, I can't clear title because there's a lien it's your lien. Mm-hmm. But they put it on there after I bought it, so title insurance don't cover it. So it's going to be interesting how the renegotiation is going to come into play then. But it's whatever. I'm not paying it.
Let me ask this: the condition of the property, how is that? I mean, once he's out, everything should be pretty square.
Well, so you
got some shit to fix?
Oh, I mean, you always got stuff to fix.
Yeah.
But the way I got into the property to actually see the property is, can I use the restroom? And the guy that was suing me, he wouldn't let me. But I was talking to the other guy because he came out there to hear what the hell was going on. I was like, hey, do you think I can use your restroom real quick? I really need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, come on in. Got in one unit. Okay, so looking around, going to the bathroom, need some updates, need some paint, smells like cigarettes. Okay, no central heating and air. All right, cool. Got one unit in, done. Check. All right, so now I just have this other unit with these rogue people in it. I don't know how I'm gonna get in, but whatever. And well, we buy it, and they call code enforcement. I mean, they're complaining about stupid stuff, and they want to tell code enforcement that they don't believe that I'm the owner. DCAD was down for a while, if you don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So code enforcement's like, no, we verified he's the owner, and let's go talk about it. So I went through their unit, and they're complaining about a bunch of dumb shit, like little small holes around pipes under the sink. In other words, this code enforcement lady is just, why am I here? So anyways, code enforcement just, hey, look, I'm we're done. Thanks. So I got in the unit because of code enforcement. I got a video of it, thank God. So that's how I know what my units look like. But, if we can get these people out and we're seller financing at 2%, taxes are high. We were going to do some Airbnbs because it's right there on Greenville. Hell, one of the units doesn't even have parking. You got to park on the street. Well, the Airbnb play is now dead.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that.
So it's dead for now. I'm suing Fort Worth. I ain't scared to sue Dallas. That's fine.
Yeah.
The Dallas Short-Term Rental Alliance is working on that, just like the Fort Worth one is. And, eventually we'll get these sons of bitches out.
Yeah.
And we'll eventually get some rentals going. But, they've been costing me a lot of money. But, the key here is to not get upset about it, not to lose focus, not to, put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go out and do other deals, whatever. I'll come back to this deal when it comes around. It's cost me money, whatever.
Yeah.
Can't take it with you.
Yeah.
Make more tomorrow.
But once it's the hump, you're over the hump.
Right.
It's gonna be it'll be a solid deal.
Yeah.
So what about I always like to ask, like, what about like what about as far as like top deal, like best deal? What deal, throw something out that maybe like you look back and like, man, that was a home run. Maybe something we really knocked that shit out the park.
Okay. You want to hear a good one?
Yeah.
All right. 2018, a good buddy of mine calls me up. His name's Jeff Gilstrap. And he says, hey, you want to do a deal in Colleyville? Not really. To be honest with you, not really. And he says, I got a deal for you, and it's on market. Nah, bro.
Yeah.
It's a unicorn.
Like Colleyville on market. Yeah, I'm good. No, wait.
Yeah.
It's agent represented too. Ah, bro. You kidding me? All right. Well, let's hear it. Well, it's pre-foreclosure with 120 days to go. So no real immediate pressure, but everybody's foreclosure pressure is different. If you're a procrastinator, you really don't care. But if you're one of them guys that handles your business, you care immediately. And anyways, this agent is telling him that it's a pre-foreclosure. They're not doing well health-wise, but it's a teardown. It's a complete teardown. Okay. Well, I'm not really interested in teardowns at this time. So I'm asking the agent, what year was it built? 1973. Okay. Is it brick? Everything's brick in Colleyville or stucco. Yeah, it's brick. How big's the lot? Half an acre. Trees, of course. And it was 5,700 oak top. And anyways, can I come by and see it? Well, kind of. Well, what's going on? Well, there's a lady in the master bedroom that's hooked up to a machine, and you're not allowed in there. Okay, but I can see the rest of the house. So I just can't see the master bath and the master bedroom, right? Yeah, that's correct. Okay. So the gentleman in the house is sitting in the beat up Winnebago on the side of the house in front of all of his old cars with leaves on them. And so I go in there and take a look at it. This thing ain't a teardown. No way in hell it's a teardown. But she's a Colleyville snooty realtor that thinks everything needs to be a teardown.
Yeah. Tear it down and build it back up.
Tear it down, build $1 million house.
Yep.
Rinse and repeat. That's what she wants her family raised up in, So anyways, I go in and they're asking $360,000 and it's labeled as a lot/land. It's not labeled as a house.
Yeah.
Rehabbers would have snatched this thing up.
Yeah.
Buyers would have snatched this thing up, but it wasn't on MLS properly. It's labeled as a lot. That's why nobody's looking at it. Okay. But it's a house. Anyways, I walk it. Foundation walks flat. Original windows. Air conditioner's working, but it's old. Kitchen needs to be blown out. Needs windows. Probably needs a roof. I don't know. But it really wasn't that bad. So, well, you're asking $360,000 for it. Okay, and in your professional opinion, how much? I asked the realtor this because she's a professional. I'm not. She's got a license. I don't know shit.
Yeah, right.
So I asked her. I said, well, in your professional opinion, what's this house need? She goes, it needs to be torn down. And then I said, well, if we didn't tear it down, we rehabbed it. How much money do you think we need to throw at it? Oh, at least $100,000. This is back in 18, but when 100,000 was 100,000 and not 200,000. You see what I'm saying? Or 50,000. Sorry. So And I said, well, investors want 70% of the after rehab value. What's it worth that with fixed up? Oh, probably 400, whatever number it will compute it to. And I said, well, investors want 70% minus repairs. Well, 70% minus repairs is $180,000 for a half acre 1973 brick house in Colleyville, Texas.
You got it. And you got it.
And she said, well, I'll present it to my clients. They accepted it. And for some reason, they paid the title policy too. I was like, whatever. Sure. Cool. Not a problem. Well, Ryan, since it's pre-foreclosure, my clients, they want some non-refundable earnest money. Cool. Not a problem. How much you want? $3,200. Double 2%.
Oh, don't force me to do that.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Let's do it. So we bought it on market, labeled wrong, had to give them a 30-day lease back to get them out. It went over a little bit, no big deal. And I finally get access to this house, and she says the bathroom and the bedroom is no better or no worse than the rest of the house, and she was correct.
Mm.
We bought it, pulled the carpet out, pulled out they left a tremendous amount of flip house gold, tremendous amount. Attic was stuff. The house is just they just literally just packed a suitcase and left.
Yeah.
They got their vehicles out of there, but the garage is full of tools. Some of the stuff I still own to this day. And we bought it for $180,000, closed on it, let them leave, cleaned it out, and then I sold it off market 3 times. I sold it for I wanted $280,000 for it as is.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a $5,000 earnest money check. Went to go sell it, closed. Dude didn't show up. Sent me a text. Sorry, can't do it. And he paid the earnest money directly to me.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. No big deal.
Next, please.
Next. Sell it again. An agent represents, and we got bandit signs. We got it on Zillow. I mean, we're out here just trying to sell it off market. Realtor comes in and says, we'll give you $280 for it, and we're going to do an inspection. We need a little option period. I'm cool. Well, give me $500 for an option fee. And she gives me $500 for an option fee, and then she comes back and she says, well, we got to have it at $210. Thanks for dinner. I'm going to Del Frisco's. Tell your client I said thanks. Send me the term. I literally said that. So she sends me the term, and then I sell it again, and it closes. And it finally sold. So I sold it. I made $5,500 in contract rent, and then I finally sold it for $280,000. And me, Jeff, and my grandfather at the time, we split $90,000 in profit.
That's cool.
And it was one of the easiest deals I've ever done in my life.
That's cool. And the agent made such a huge mistake.
Right. And she wanted me to list it with her when I got it fixed up.
Well, hell no, it's not land.
And
she's gonna put it back as land.
And I told her, I said, you don't want to list this property because you're going to find yourself in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you listed somebody's property as a lot land, took a hell of a discount on it, and then turned around and got people out, cleaned it out, and then turned around and labeled it as a house, and somebody sold it for $100,000 more, you're going to get sued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't want that shown. So no, you're not listing this. And I didn't. And I kept it off market to prevent her from getting sued. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we sold it off market 3 times and finally closed. But that was a really good deal and a good buy. Biggest assignment fee that me and Celisa did was $75,000, and that was her first deal.
So
Yeah.
did they tear it down?
No, they rehabbed it. They rehabbed it and sold it for around $400,000. It might have been sold again, but it came out really nice.
Yeah.
In fact, the person that bought it, actually, a friend of mine did the rehab on it. It was kind of cool.
Awesome.
They did a $75,000 assignment fee with Celisa. That was her very first deal. That was kind of cool. My first breakthrough assignment fee was $42,500. My first big one. That was kind of cool. I've done a lot of 50s, done a lot of 60s. Only $175,000.
What do you like spending your time? Like everybody has their thing, right? Some people are like, do you prefer to flip? Do you like to buy and hold more? Like what's kind of that? Everybody has their thing. Some people are like, man, I love to flip, and others are like, man, I want to buy and sit on this thing forever. Like, what do you prefer? What's your
Man, I get asked that quite a bit. House flipping is not really that fun, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, when you're first getting started and you're trying to figure it out, it seems a little bit funner. At this point, it really doesn't seem like it's fun. It almost seems like it's just protocol. It's just what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Landlording is fun. When I self-manage about 35 houses.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of help. I don't really want to say a virtual assistant, but I have a woman that takes my maintenance calls.
Mm-hmm.
So she handles all my maintenance on them, so I don't have to take those calls. But I do all the leasing and all the money and evictions and stuff on my own.
Yeah.
But as far as fun, the funnest part of this job really is probably just is the byproduct of the job or of the career, and that's freedom. I mean, what is today? Today's Thursday.
Yep.
At noon, and I'm wearing flip flops and a backwards hat and talking to you instead of saying hi, welcome to whatever bullshit we're doing. Working for somebody else.
You're not at the Death Star.
Yeah, I'm not at the Death Star anymore, and not doing the same thing. Love or hate the Death Star, but I'll tell you about it. If you work for the Death Star for 13 years, you're going to learn how to sell. Because that's what I did for 13 years. I was coached or I was the coach on sales.
Yeah.
On how to talk to people. Hey, you didn't get it this time, get on the next one. Hey, you missed that, get on the next one. Hey, you missed that, get on the next one. Just consistent coaching and consistent sales training or being the coach. I mean, it'll help.
Yeah.
You take away that 13 years at the Death Star, I'm not the same person today.
Yeah. It was your proving ground to fuck things up and try it out and make mistakes and be like, okay, that I don't need to say that, or I should say it like this, or I need to say this.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't fired, I quit, but I was going to get fired if I didn't quit.
Yeah.
I was blackmailed. I gave away two $1 tablets. You going to lose a 13-year employee over $2?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, it's technicality. HR's got it now, so all right. Well, kiss my ass.
In the future, man, just to kind of get in that, I know because you do help. I know you have the Texas Tuesdays.
Oh yeah.
And so I know you help other newer investors and other investors. What do you foresee yourself like? What
coaching?
Well, I mean, is like, do you foresee yourself going, hey, just buying and holding more rentals? I mean, what does that look like for you? Just when you kind of look at your own big picture, everybody has their thing, like someone's like, I want to get to that or this, like,
yeah. I am for somebody that seems to have a lot and got a lot of skills. The one thing I suck at is goal setting.
Yeah.
I don't set goals.
No,
like I just don't. I mean, hell, it took me 20 years to get married out of being a man, 18 to damn near 38 to get married. I just don't set goals, man.
Gotcha.
I've never been a big goal guy. And I don't know what the real reason is, but growing up or living in the United States, you have basic goals.
Mm-hmm.
The basic goals are graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, get a job, get married, have children, have a retirement account, buy a house. Those are the basic goals that are just, you don't even have to say them. They're just understood at this point.
Everybody's taught that all the way through.
Right. And I'll have to continue to teach my children that. But I'm not really good at, saying, hey, I'm going to go make $1 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just really good at just finding opportunities and taking opportunities and get the best out of the opportunity I can. And most importantly, you got to look back at the opportunity after the deal's completed and figure out where you went wrong. Even on a home run deal, what went wrong?
Yeah.
What could you have done better? Goes back to the Death Star thing. What could you have done better?
Right.
Yeah, you just sold this customer $1,500 worth of fucking accessories and TV service and internet service and a million fucking phones. What'd you do? What did you leave? What could you have done better?
Yeah.
Not much better, but there's always something that you could have done better. Well, you didn't sell roadside assistance for $3. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'll get it next time, coach. Sorry.
That's why I always ask those questions, like not necessarily what's like, I started with a home run. Like, tell me, like what's a hard deal? What's something that's like, it sticks with you, because that's where we learn, right? Is the big fuck ups. And then of course the little ones along the way. And so I agree with that. And that's where you make those mistakes matter. And there's always something better we can do.
And if you can look at the good deals, the bad deals, and find the mistakes, you can't really see the future, but you can kind of see where this is going. You can see, you know what the expectations are going to be based on which road you're on.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where I'm at in my career. I mean, it's just like filling the market. If you're not in the market, you can't fill the market. Well, the market's on my juggler.
Mm-hmm.
It's always on my juggler. I feel it every move it makes. I don't know. Here it is, July of 2023. The market's tight again. I mean, it really is.
Yeah,
there's no fucking deals. There's no inventory. Nobody's selling because interest is too damn high.
You keep your finger on the pulse. You're always,
or it's on the juggler.
Yeah,
it's on the juggler.
You're always.
You can do the pulse down here. You can put it right here on the juggler. I prefer it on the juggler.
You keep that finger on it. So.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. So talk about Texas Tuesday, man. So tell us a little about that. Just kind of, what that's about. Anybody that's listening that hears this, I mean, Tell us about Texas Tuesday.
Well, Texas Tuesday, there's no registration. There's nothing registered. It's a state of mind. It's for the people, by the people. Mm-hmm. There's a chance you could be running that thing in 5 years from now. There's a possibility. If I fall over dead, what happens? Well, it keeps going. That's the way it is. It keeps going. People say it's my meetup. Not really. I mean, I guess I run it and I'm a creator of it, but it's a living, breathing machine in my opinion. But we've been doing Texas Tuesday since 1 month before I was terminated from my broker dealer. Actually, that would be October, the first Tuesday in October of 2017, and we ran that thing all the way up to COVID. COVID shut us down, fired it back up. Black Lives Matter riots in Fort Worth shut us down for curfews. And then we finally got through that, and we finally got it back up and running. And now we're at Hyenas Comedy Club in downtown Fort Worth. We've been there for probably, a little over a year now. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the revamp after the Black Lives Matter. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've probably been there for a while. I mean, how long has Joe Biden been in office? I mean, wasn't that right when he was coming into office or something? So I'm trying to think how many years we've been down there, but Hyenas Comedy Club has been awesome. And now we have Hyenas Comedy Club in Dallas as well. So now Texas Tuesday is in Dallas and in Fort Worth at the exact same time.
That's cool.
And you have two speakers. If you want to go to Fort Worth, go see that speaker, go to Fort Worth. You want to go to Dallas to see that speaker, go to Dallas. But the biggest complaint that I've had over the years, as we've bounced around different locations. I've been in North Fort Worth. We've been over there in Carrollton, Louisville area, and then we're back over to Fort Worth and downtown. The biggest complaint I got from the Dallas people is, dude, you're in Fort Worth. It's just hard to get over there on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And then when we were in Carrollton, the Fort Worth guys just quit commenting like, dude, it's just hard to get to Carrollton and traffic and stuff like that on Tuesday night. So now we have Dallas and Fort Worth, and we have no fucking excuses, people.
Yeah, show up.
Show up. I mean, I just don't want to hear it anymore. I mean, people just have told me so much. It's just too far of a drive. Too hard to get with traffic. Well,
what time is it?
7:00.
What got you started on it? I gotta ask. What made you say, man? Let's start Texas Tuesday.
Kind of goes back to the networking thing. Go back to when I was a broker dealer, where we're working for a broker dealer. You got to go meet people. I tend to meet up after meet up after. Dude, I was a professional networker. Mm-hmm. And we fired that one up. Me, Chase Howard, and Freddie Sotelo. Freddie Sotelo hasn't been to a Texas Tuesday since he spoke. Chase hasn't been to a Texas Tuesday since, I don't know, he probably came to see me speak or somebody speak, but he don't have time. Freddie don't have time either. So it just kind of here, we don't have time. If you want to run it, whatever, So
yeah.
And we just continue to do it. And sometimes we suck and have 40 people in the audience. Sometimes we're doing well and we have 140 people in the audience. But one thing that I know is that you have to have help for those things too. Yeah. So we have Joe Aguilar. He's with Jag Digital. He's a sponsor / helper, and he does a lot of the MC stuff. Edwin Calvo and Diana Laren, they help out with bringing in speakers, and also we have a paid Zoom call with our speakers. So if you attend the mastermind and you want to have a more of a private Zoom call with a handful of people, you can pay $50 to the bartenders. So we raise money for the bartenders.
That's cool.
So if you want to be on the Zoom call with whoever the speaker is, ask more questions, help develop your business a little bit better, you just got to pay $50. Well, who am I paying $50 to? Well, you got a bar tab over there. Just add a $50 tip and you're good. And so we raise money for the bartenders. So if the bartenders are happy, they're going to show up. The bar's making money because sponsors pay for drink tickets until we run out. And that's just what we do. We raise money for the bartenders. We were raising money for a charity, but the water's kind of got muddy the way we do things. And regulations and stuff like that. So I get it. There's they needed to pay for us and we needed to pay them. Mm-hmm. And it just wasn't working out. So it's really kind of sad that we had to end that relationship. But, maybe that's how we got our foot in the door, was we're doing it for charity. We're doing it for charity, that's what we were. Well, charity didn't work out no more over bureaucracy. So do we lose a room? And I just went back and told them the truth. We're not raising money for, charity anymore due to a bunch of red tape.
Yeah.
But this is what we're going to do. Can we keep our room? And I every time I go to the Texas Tuesday Mastermind, I walk up, get me a drink, and I hand my business card to the bartender and say, if you don't have a good night, you're going to have a good morning. Call me. And I never get a call the next morning. So we just take care of the bar staff there, and the bar's profitable a little bit, and the bartenders are happy. The managers show up. I mean, it's like it's kind of a big deal now, and we have been running since October of 2017, minus COVID and some riots, and that's coming up on 6 years. Minus some time out.
That's cool. It was a way to network for you guys to kind of start. As things were changing over, and that opportunity was starting to present itself, and life was changing for you, and you were making big moves and adjustments. It was your way to, like you said, become a professional networker and network more, and make sure to tell them, don't give me your fucking email.
Right. So
call me, motherfucker.
So if I need a speaker, I literally and I call everybody and I talk to everybody. It's not hard to find a speaker. Hey, you want to speak at Texas Tuesday? We got an opening here, and here. Which one are you interested in? Yep. And then those people bring their crowd, just like a rocker. A rock band brings their crowd.
Yeah.
So they bring their crowd, and you network again. You network with new people.
Yeah.
And they might come back to the next month. They might not. They might come in the future. But at the end of the day, we're giving free education, free points of view.
Yep.
And people like that. People always want to know where to start. Educate yourself. Well, how do you educate yourself? They don't have college courses for this.
Yeah.
You got to show up.
Yep.
You got to show up, and you got to shake the trees.
Yeah. I like that. That's a lot of value. Anybody that's listening to this and hears this, I mean, that's something that, pretty much that network, that's such a huge part. And some people just will sit, we have a mix between guys that invest and agents and new people and stuff. People they kind of listen to listen to podcasts, and, just, that's something that I know we say a lot. We're like, man, you just got to go meet people and talk to people, and that's it. And to, the way you've explained that and just put that out and said, this is what Texas Tuesday is, and this is why it makes sense, to have it like that. It makes perfect sense.
People say that you can educate yourself online, YouTube. I haven't learned a fucking thing from YouTube, I'll be honest. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I listen to music. I don't even listen to podcasts really.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just kind of unplug yourself, and the best way to do it is just listen to music. But I don't really listen to podcasts. I mean, every once in a while I will, but I don't really listen to them. I get a lot of interruptions. That's my problem.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to do the podcast thing when your phone rings every 5 minutes. I mean, I'm looking at my phone right here, and it's just beep, 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 beep. Looks like I got a CPA hitting me up. I got a worker that didn't show up on time, and he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I got a partner that's showing up. I got bankers probably messaging me and saying we're good. And
yeah.
There might be an extension or two I got to sign in there. I don't know yet, but it's just there's a lot of things that hit you in this business, and you just got to know how to handle them. I mean,
yep.
I think some of the mistakes that I've made is I'm not a whale, believe it or not. This is per my CPA. I'm not a whale. Well, fuck you too. Well, CPA is my aunt. But I was actually asking my cousin, which is her son, who's part of the CPA firm. I said, they were talking about some whale that they're trying to close and trying to get their business. And I said, well, am I a whale? No, Ryan, you're a school of fish. And this is my mistake and I don't know if it's really a mistake or not. It's just the way I do. I've been doing it, but I have partnership after partnership after partnership after partnership after partnership. Gotcha. So it makes a school of fish instead of a whale. You know what I mean? If it was all just one big conglomerate, it'd be a whale, but instead I'm a school of fish.
Yeah. And
it's a big school of fish, but it's still not a whale. But that's kind of some of the mistakes I've made maybe. And I don't know if it's really a mistake, but I'm diversified.
Yeah.
I'm well diversified.
Yeah.
Now real estate takes a dip. That's the majority of my diversification. Don't get me wrong, but if real estate tanks, so does Wall Street. It happens. They go together. So your diversification will only help you so much. But I not only am I diversified with different cities and states, I'm diversified with different partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
Different partnerships have different designs. They have different mindsets. They have different goals. I've got some partners that are kicking ass and taking names, and I've got some partners that are probably on vacation.
Yeah.
Or doing something else mentally. And it's just, it is what it is,
I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. I think everybody has, I mean, that's one thing, especially all the different guests we've talked to, like, and that's why I like asking these kind of questions, because the viewpoint's different. Your viewpoint is so much different than someone else's, and it's not a wrong viewpoint. I think it's just how you otherwise, for you, it makes sense.
Right.
And you're like, this is it. Some people are like, look, I think, what was it? Tim Harris was telling us about, because Scott Horn is, I love Scott. Like, but it's things like 40 houses before you're 40. Paid off, like 40 houses
not
paid off.
Not paid off. Let's not do paid off.
Right, but his everyone's so different, right? So whether that's right or wrong, but Tim was like, no, I don't, I want bigger, So it's just like, to hear different viewpoints is awesome, and that's why, like, you maybe have partnerships, but I don't think that's wrong. It's just, it makes sense and it works for you.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's.
All different.
What happens if Burger King goes under?
Yeah.
Glad you own half of Wendy's, and glad you own half of McDonald's, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So if one of these fail, or first of all, we don't fail. There's no failure. But if it falls apart and we just end, is that a failure? Maybe. Is it a completion of assignment? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But as we develop and change over the time as entrepreneurs, it's okay to redevelop yourself.
Yeah.
I go back to the setting goals that I suck at. I don't have a goal for this year. I guess my only goal this year was to get married, and
mission accomplished.
I mean, so that was the only goal. The only goal for this year, and I just don't really have any other goals. I got a good base. Mm-hmm. I got good income. It's not consistent, unfortunately, but
would it be to get the tenant out?
Yeah.
Your
right.
Dallas property before the end of the
Yeah,
year.
get him out.
Fuck that guy, and he doesn't even deserve to be on my goal board. So, I mean, I guess it is a goal, but to me, that's so minor in the grand scheme of things. And he's trying to make it so major and trying to, stick it to the man. Bro, you're not even touching the man, dude.
Yeah.
You got a lot to, I mean, come on, dude. I mean, but that's one thing maybe I should work on, is just setting a few goals. But I've just gotten through life without really setting a lot of goals, other than the basic ones that I laid out in front of you. Those are the understoods.
Yeah.
You make $1 million, you got to pay taxes on $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You have 100 houses, you got to manage 100 houses.
Yeah.
You got 15 employees that are hunting deals. You got 15 personalities you got to manage.
Yep.
So, I'm kind of a slow grower, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to just blow up in one day, but
yeah, no, it makes sense, man. It's everybody has their different way of doing it. So I love it, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I hope you guys, everybody gets a chance to listen to this. Check out Texas Tuesday. I know we need to go. We haven't got
August 1st. I'm speaking in Dallas. We're launching Dallas on August 1st. It might be a failure. It might be a flop. People been going to Fort Worth and stuff like that. We'll see. Don't have a speaker lined up for August 1st. I'm waiting for a couple people to confirm, but I'm already booked out through the rest of the year, with the exception of August 1st in Fort Worth. But
cool.
Hyenas Comedy Club on first Tuesday, unless it's a holiday, and July 4th was the only holiday we've had this year that's on Texas Tuesday, so it'll go through the end of the year. And there's a lot of great people you can meet out there. A lot of the who's who comes out. Some of them do, some of them don't. But it's a good place to learn and to network and find people.
Yep, meet. Yeah, well, sounds good, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me,
taking the time, and hope you get that person out of your house.
Yeah, ain't nothing but a thing, bro.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you very much.